Hello, I'm Casual K for Bass.Pow, and today we're going to take a look at a program called Splash Pro. This is actually a really good free chord progression generator, you could call it. And so far, I haven't seen any major downsides to this program other than the vocals, and that's to be expected. I mean, it generates a computerized vocal voice, but it actually sings it, and you can make it sing into the proper melody. So that's kind of nice, but that's not something I really would use other than to play around with. But the chord progression for the keyboards and the bass is actually pretty good. And if you know how to build chord progressions, it's a good chance you don't even need a program like this, but I want to show it to you anyway because it is 100% free. And if you're a beginner producer, it's definitely something to take a look at. Now, the interface is straightforward. You have your BPM, which you match that to your project BPM. You select the key, and they give you a choice between major and minor. We picked A minor because that way we can only use the white notes here. Okay, and when you're only dealing with the white notes, it's a little easier to teach beginners, so I chose the A minor. I could have also used the relative major, which is the C major chord, which is just all the white notes starting from C. But for this video, I just picked A minor. All right, next you have the amount of bars that you want to generate. You have a choice between 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. I selected 4 for this video. And the number of chords, you have a choice between 1, 2, 4, or 8. I selected 4. All right, and now the part that's probably the most controversial, it's not controversial, the part that this program is made for is the chord progressions. Okay, but a lot of beginner producers don't understand music theory, and I think that will hold them back. You can use a program like this, and this will get you started, but there's some things missing out. If you look at this list of chord progressions, they all start with the 1. Okay, but say if you wanted to make a 2-5-1 chord progression, you can come up here and change this, say, to a minor 2. Now this, in this case, a 2-5-1, that would be a major chord, so we would go to A major, but I'm not going to do that. So let's say, instance, we wanted a 2-5-1. You could go 2, 5, and then 1. Let me bring that 1 up, and then leave this blank. So we go to none. So that there you have your, I don't want the 5-7, I just want the 5. Now you have a 2-5-1 chord progression. That's a minor 2, a minor 5, and a minor 1. Okay, now in reality, if you're in the A minor, the 2 is not minor. The 2 would be considered diminished. So you would actually have to make alterations to that chord once you generated the code. But we'll save that for a little later. Okay, so let's go back to one of their chord progressions, like a 1, 4, let's see if I can find a 1, 4, 5, 1 maybe, which is a very, very popular chord progression. A 1, 4, I don't see a 1, 4, 5, 1. Is that enter? Now that's actually really strange because 1, 4, 5, 1, here's a 1, 4, 3, 7, a 1, 4, 3, 5, but I don't see a 1, 4, 5, 1. So we're going to make our own 1, 4, 5, 1. Now you're probably wondering, what in the world is he talking about 1, 4, 5, 1? What does that all that mean? I'm going to show you in a second before we even jump into the program and all its features. Okay, on the side here, over here, my piano roll. Let me turn this on. You don't really need to hear it, but I have A minor scale mapped out for you. These bottom notes are the scale notes. The notes of the scale, they're also referred to as scale degrees because you have your first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh scale degree. So when we're looking at these chords, we're looking at the first chord, the fourth chord, the fifth chord, and back to the first chord. So when you're building a chord progression, they're built from scale degrees: 1, 4, 5, and then back to the 1. That's all a chord progression is. Okay, now there's different ways to plan the chords. You can play them in first position, second position, or like what's called root position, second position, third position. You can invert. You can add on to. You can make it, instead of a triad, you can make it a seventh, a ninth. You can augment chords. But for this video, we're going to keep it real simple and just use basic chords. So everything in here that I write, it's going to be a triad, except for, see, when I go ahead and say if I pick this one, I'm picking just the one, right? So you would think this is going to be a triad, but sometimes they actually reinforce these chords or fortify these chords, so they're not only giving you a triad, they give you a little bit more, which is good. But I wish they would actually write it in here so you would see it, so you know what you're picking. And some people will say, well, this program is not really made for people who know music theory, so it's just random, or, you know, AI generated chord progressions. So you might not even know what progression you're getting. You're just getting the sound, and that's what you're going for. That could be the case, but I would like for them to give you a little bit more choices. Like, say this, was this the 1? I would like to see if it has had 1 in first position, I mean root position, or in second position and stuff like that. That would be nice also. But anyway, so now, oops, now we know what those numbers mean. We have first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh scale degree. But you want to need to know also is the type of chords. This first chord is a minor chord. This is a diminished chord, and this is a major chord. This is a minor, minor, major, major. How do you know that? Because a minor chord, okay, a triad is a 1, 3, 5 chord, right? That's your typical triad. But you have different types of triad. So you have a minor triad, which would be your root note, a minor third, and a major fifth. And what that means is the distance between this note and that note right there is 1 semitone, okay, or 1 interval. When you have something called 3, 4, when you see a minor chord, you want to think 3, 4. That means 3 semitones between your root note, 1, 2, 3, and 4 notes between this third and the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a major fifth. So you have a minor third and a major fifth. That makes a minor chord. And like I said earlier, the 1, the 4, and the 5 are minor. Okay, so you see how that fits: 1, 4, and 5. And remember, I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, a major chord is still 1, 3, 5, but you have the root 1, 2, 3, 4, a major third, and a minor fifth, 1, 2, 3. So that's a 4, 3. When you think about it, it's 4 semitones and 3 semitones. This is a major third, and a minor fifth. So where are our minor chords? I mean, I'm sorry, where are our major chords? Okay, the second is not major, but the third is major, the sixth is major, and the seventh is major. And that goes for all natural minor chords. Your third, sixth, and seventh is always going to be major. But we have this chord right here. What is this? This is called a diminished chord. So we have our root note, 1, 2, 3, a minor third, 1, 2, 3, and a minor fifth. So that's called diminished. It's less than major. Okay, so this second note, I'm sorry, the second chord here is called if I can get it to go right, there we go. That's called a diminished chord. All right, so you might want to remember this: 1 minor, 2 diminished, 3 major, 4 minor, 5 minor, 6 major, and 7 major. So that's the pattern that you're going to always have on your natural minor chords. In the natural minor scale, that's the pattern that you would have. Let me say it again: 1 minor, 2 diminished, 3 major, 4 minor, 5th minor, 6th major, and 7th major. That's something really good to know. So now you come to a program like Splash Pro, and they're going to build chord progressions for us, right? So we're going to use this Keystone Classic 2, and we're going to build a chord progression to go with the little drum beat. The drum beat is not that important. I'm going to take this away for right now and move this up. All right, so we want to make a little chord progression using Splash Pro. All right, so we have keyboard highlighted. We have the option to do on keyboard, bass, drums, or vocals, but we're going to go keyboard and create. We're going to pick a style. So under style, we have a genre, so we're going to pick hip hop and boom bap. All right, so we already have that selected. Now down here is where you have some more advanced controls. We can control the variation, chordiness, note length, root octave, velocity, timing, and pitch range. I'm going to leave all of these locked for right now, but I want the chordiness to be all the way over because I want these notes to be stacked on top of each other. So an A minor chord is ACE. This program a lot of times will stack that with another A and maybe an E and play it like that, which is perfectly fine. That's a nice full professional. They said they could make professional music for you. That's a nice full professional chord. So when we hit this when we hit this button that says compose MIDI, let's see what it comes up with. Now the first chord should be a 1, the second chord should be a 4, the third chord should be a 5, and the fourth chord should be a 1 again. And let's see how well it does. Okay, so we definitely have them stacked above each other, which I wanted. That's why I selected these settings here. All right, so let's take a look at the first chord. Let me make this bigger so make sure we're not missing anything. All right, we have our root note down here, so we have an A because the first note in the chord, A, that's considered the root note. So we have A, C, E, and then they reinforced it again with the A and the C. Let's take a listen. Whoops. I need to bring this back to the beginning. Like I said, I'm going to take the drums off for right now. Just listen to the chord progression. Dun, dun, dun. And it loops back over. So let's take a look. What do we have here? We have, like I said, we have ACE. So that's our first chord. And then we had a 4, right? So what's the fourth chord? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's D. What are the notes in the D minor chord? D, F, A. So in bar 2, we should have a D, F, and A. We have D, F, and A. You see there, and then the reinforcement notes. All right. In the third bar, we should have E because that's the 5th scale degree. So the notes in the E minor chord are E, G, B. And you can see we have an E, a G, and a B here with some more reinforcements. And then in the 5th one, we go back to A, C, E. So A, C, and E. So it did exactly what we wanted to do. It gave us a little rhythm, you know, so we have this chord, we played out, boom, but then it gave us a little rhythm. That's nice. And if you don't know music theory, that little bit right there could be complicated for you, and this program does it extremely well. Something else I like about this program is right here it says accompany. I could go here, drag the chord progression that we just made back into the program, and say we want to have a accompany source. So now we're going to go to keyboard, and like you see, I put variation way up. Don't want it real chordy because I want this almost as like a top melody, right? And maybe go up a little bit on the pitch range. And let's generate some more notes. All right, so now we have a new MIDI file built. But what I want to do is I'm going to bring this down. Oops, I could do it like that. I want to bring this down and say make unique because we're going to drag that new file into here, and now we should have something that's more linear. Where we can have it. There you go. This, see, the chordiness is completely gone now. We have mostly single notes, and we can play this up a couple octaves higher here. Let's put it way up in the 6th register, and now listen to it. And that's actually really nice because now you have a melody over top of the chord progression that the program generated all completely for us. Now we gave it the chord progression that we wanted to use, which is perfectly fine, but it actually generated a chord progression and a melody for us. So next thing you could do is, do I have a bass over here? Let me take a look at my thing. No, so let's add a bass. We want to use a bass instrument. And I like Flex. A lot of people don't like Flex. Flex is the program that comes with FL Studio, and I like it. It's pretty nice. Got some nice sounds. All right, we're gonna put this on our mixer. Close that down. We want to turn this volume down because we're gonna send it to the pre-master and add some delay and a little bit of reverb. And what we're gonna do is go back into Flex, take that MIDI that we had earlier, and we could be in the company also, and we're going to drop that in there, and we're going to select bass this time. So now we need to add bass to our program and open up the piano roll and drop this into there and see what it comes up with. Oh, did I let me hit compose? I didn't hit compose yet. Alrighty, we're going to drop that in there. And the bass, of course, is going to be way down here. I'm going to move it up 1 octave. So if you listen to it on the phone, you might, so be easy for you to hear. There's still a chance that if you listen to this on the phone or some earbuds, you might have trouble hearing the full bass range, but I hope you can. Now let's take a listen. Now that's actually pretty nice. Now we didn't. Now, is that something that I would use per se? Maybe not, but maybe so. Who knows? That's oops. It's perfectly fine. It's a good little rhythm. It goes along with what we already had. So at this point, the program almost made a whole song for us. We can add some drums in. Okay, now something else that you can do. Now let's take this bass line over here and make it unique. And we're going to drag this over here. Now we're going back into Splash Pro. And we're not going to compose a new MIDI this time. We're just going to modify the MIDI that we already have. So it's going to be similar to this, but with some variation. And we're going to open this up. This is the only part about this being a standalone program. I don't know if I said that in the beginning. Splash Pro is a standalone program. It's not a VST. It's not integrated into your DAW. So every time you click away from the program, it minimizes to the tray or to your quick launch bar down there. But that's okay. If you have 2 monitors, you could also just move this over to a separate monitor, and that way it will stay open the whole time. All right, so now what I have now is 2 parts. I have an A section, and a B section. So we could play this something like this. Now let's listen to what we have. Oh, wait a minute. This is too low, so that's... There you go, right there. Now, you basically have most of your song done. You rearrange this, you know, arrange it to what you want it. You have almost a complete song, and I didn't write one note yet. I used the AI for everything, but you see there's more to it. They have drums. I don't like the drums per se. My channel is called Beat Stockpile. I can make my own drums, but that is there. I'm not going to touch that for right now. The last part, now, I do want to say this though. Let me do this just to be fair. So I'm gonna make another drum track just to be fair. So just to demonstrate it. And we're gonna put this here. I'm gonna mute this, and I will generate a drum track and see what it comes up. I want some I don't want a lot of variation, but I do want some energy. And let's compose. Now what we need to do is put this on a drum inside out somewhere where we have drums. So all right, now we're going to drag this into the drums, and hopefully it lines up properly. In which let's listen. I don't know how this is going to sound. It's not horrible. Like you see, I mean, it's not horrible. I probably wouldn't use it, but it works. It's perfectly fine. It works. It's just I like to do my own drums. Then the last section over here is vocals. Okay, now the vocals is the last thing I want to show you. I had to make a little cut there in the video, but don't worry about it. We can do this still. So the vocals, basically what you did, you type some vocals in at the bottom here. Each line equals 2 bars of music. So we're going to have 6 bars. We're going to take this down where it says new vocal clip 21. We're going to drag this up there. What that's going to do is allow the song to be sung in the style of the song of our song that we made. And then we're going to render voice. Excuse me. And drag it in, just like you would drag in the MIDI files. We're going to drag in the vocals. We're going to put this on stretch and normalize and move it to mix insert 11, because that's where I like to put my vocals. And we're going to take a listen. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Try it again. I am supposed to write this song, but I have nothing to say. This has to be the worst song history. I am supposed to write this song, but I have All right, so there it is. That's the vocals. Like I said, I probably would never use that in a real project, but it might be something we can do with it one time, but I doubt it. Now, anyway, so Splash Pro. Splash Pro, the the um the the screen said make music with AI, smart software that helps you write music like a pro. And I'm gonna say I'll give it 5 stars, or that's my new rating, 0 to 5 stars, and I'll say 5 stars because it actually does what it sets out to do. Everything that they say here, write music like a pro, you can actually do with this program. Now, like I said, you're gonna need to have some music knowledge to get the most out of it. But if you have that knowledge, the program actually is useful. You know, especially when you come to say like your chord progressions, with the ability to make these adjustments. Let's go ahead with the chord progression. You can really tailor it to almost anything you want. Now, it's true, you could just go ahead and write the chord progression yourself. A lot of people will do that, but some people would still rather have a program like this to be able to do that. Now, I hope this video helped you out on deciding if you want to use Splash Pro. If you have any questions about it, leave a comment below and I'll try to answer any questions that you may have. I would really like for you to like the video and share it if you can. And please subscribe to my channel also. I'm Casual K from Beat Stop Pal. Y'all have a nice day.